Hmm. So, thank you again joining. As we have been talking about the higher sadhana, means the higher practices, and we are understanding the what is the knowledge of the real self, what is exactly the applied dispassion and discernment, what is illusion, delusion, and the wrong notions. We picked up these questions. Then what exactly, when we have been talking more about emotional dependence, but what exactly is emotional freedom or the pure love? So what is the difference between the individual and what we say the transcendental consciousness? So, and how to remove the suffering and the delusion uh, from our life. And we just start living, thinking, and speaking in the world uh, so that it gives us a clear understanding that these delusions have gone. So, last time we discussed about how the three diseases creates an ego. So, ego is created by these three diseases and it continues the wrong notion because it is based on the wrong notion. We need not to fight with it, but we need what we need. I was uh, watching with my family the the cops using the taser. You know the taser, Huh? Taser is something like electroshock kind of a weapon. Incapacitate the targets. So we have to incapacitate the ego. We have to use this taser of knowledge. Huh? Taser of knowledge. Because our ego does not accept the teachings. You already have seen the last year couple of beautiful women joined and they said, when women was saying what she was saying, no, no, I don't get the experiences you guys are getting, so hence I'm leaving it, I'm leaving. So, so our ego works in a totally in a unwanted, totally in a different way. So we have to use this taser of knowledge. That is why we are answering these, answering the questions. I'm hurt. Oh, because you have a heart, so that's why you are hurt. No, it is because of it is attachment that creates ego that says I am hurt. Think of think of this. What is that something which is hurt in you? Did you still remember? We did talk about the personality number 1 and 2 in the last session. The layer 1 and the layer 2. So when they merge together, it creates an ego. It creates an ego. And the taser of a knowledge that can dissolve and destroy this ego. You see that, just see that one example, that there are two people, one person you don't like, and the other person you like. So when you see the person you don't like, your ego says, I am upset. The other person you like, you say, I appreciate you. How you can have two I at the same time? I can give you many examples. Think of this. Huh? How can you have two I's? I'm upset, I'm stressed, I'm hurt, huh? I'm crushed because I had a crush. crushed at the first sight. You know, no, I'm hurt what you told, what you said about my parents. In a couple relationship, unnecessary, unwanted. These thoughts must go. So it will go only when we have a clear understanding that where is this I which is hurt. When you say I am upset, I hate, I love, I react, I is a common, so where is the I? That I lives in attachment, that I lives in delusion, that I lives in depression. I'm not saying, the psychological illness, but I press my knowledge. So I depress myself. We press and compress many emotions, feelings, and the thoughts, and then this ego takes its shape. So our thought, behavior, attitude, response, and reaction depend on the marriage of these two personalities. Huh? Did you understand? One personality is outside, I discussed last time, and the one is inside. How my mind responds, behaves, creates the thought pattern in my daily life. Our thoughts, behavior, attitude, response, and reaction depend on the marriage between these two layers of our personality that results into delusion. And this delusion is nothing but a superimposition. Superimposition. It is nothing but a superimposition. So if you remove that superimposition by understanding, by the knowledge, you will find, there is no ego at all. Why should I be upset? If you are wrong, so you be wrong. Why should I be upset because you are wrong? Why should I feel inferior if you are good? Let me appreciate you are good. So, my master used to say that when you are constantly listening and learning these principles, your mind that keeps the memory of ego, your attitude and behavior will change. Will change. There is another element that we talk about it, that is the faith. It is the faith which is opposite of ego. What is the faith? That I am the real self. The ego does not accept this. You have a good ego or a bad ego, it never accepts that I am the real self. Why? The moment you declare you are the real self, it begins the death of the ego. That is why we say we should have that faith. First, knowledge, followed by discernment, then dispassion, then faith, and ultimately we change ourselves. So this is listening and learning. I have not one, but almost I would say hundreds of people listening, they have changed. They have changed completely. Ego wants to run all the time. Ego wants to be busy all the time. Ego wants to compete all the time. Ego wants a jealousy and a hatred because that gives them the energy, especially in a corporate culture. I want to grab more and more. Can you replace it with the calmness, creativity, softness, peace? That changes the direction of the mind. So what we are working on, I think a week ago we had a session that there are 3 factors that can change my entire life: knowledge, love, and action. Do you still remember? No, no, why should I ask you? You remember. So, knowledge, love, and action. So, we are focusing on the knowledge part, and then when I have a knowledge, what happens? It drops the delusion. Then what happens? That knowledge invokes the love for the real self, not the love that causes the emotional dependence. I will open up one after the other. I'm just giving you a summary. So, what happens? My master used to say listening, 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 and learning and doing the practice. Oh, I got a glimpse of the real self. Intellectual understanding is there. But constantly learning these principles, you have a glimpse of your real self. And the once you have a glimpse of the real self, you have the love for the real self, and then you have a love for the real self. Then what happens? The third layer is made up of Shreyas. It is present within. You start living in Shreyas. Ego that lives with the delusion and suffering must die its own death. The taser of the knowledge should incapacitate this ego. Are you getting it? I believe you are getting it. You're learning. Knowledge of the real self, love for the knowledge of real self, and then action in thought, in speech, in action. What did we hear? Knowledge of the real self, one. Love for the knowledge of real self, then action in thinking, speaking will change. Ego dies its own death. But if it is not supported by discernment, dispassion, faith, living life with a journey in the mind, what should I do? If someone says you something, option is there, I should get upset. That ego get upset. Or ego maintains the calmness. It can happen in the family also. It can happen with our own relationship. It can happen with the stranger. Last year, I think I was in TJ Maxx, and so this woman was bubbling with the laughing, and it's really good. I appreciated her. I said, "You always laugh and smile?" She said, "Yes." I said, "Do you also smile and laugh at your home?" "No, never." See the duality. So, life should be a journey directed by the knowledge, love, and action. Then you need not to make a complaint that nobody loves you. Did I say you love me? So, when you say you don't love me, why? I covered that topic. When you wander, when the mind is constantly wandering in life, that wandering mind is the name of delusion, likes, and dislikes. I'm combining all those. Wandering is a linear movement. Do you understand what I said? More money, more happiness, not possible. More pleasure, more happiness, not possible. I am single, get married, will be happy, not. Happiness is not possible. Happiness is not present in the linear movement. Are you getting it? Wandering mind says, time is passing, what should I do? And the seeker says, time is timeless. Timelessness. I am not passing in time. I am different from the time. Seeker says, I am single, I am happy. I am married, I am happy. You challenge through the knowledge that ego which says I am stressed, because of others, because of relationship, because I am single, because I am lonely. And I can tell you, you just keep that thinking even for a week, and you will see the entire life changes. The wandering mind is uncontrolled mind. It makes you upset on anything and everything. Now, see what the master of the Eastern wisdom says. When you are learning and listening, then the time comes you awaken to your inner guru. Guru is not outside, it is inside you. To awaken to the inner guru, it can only happen by discipline. First step is you become a seeker, and when you become a seeker, you check that it is a wandering mind, linear movement, you drop it, you become a seeker, you fix the goal of life is the self-discovery. Then you follow the journey. You will find the inner guru. So that inner guru first appears at the third level, which says, no, calm down, continue calm, no hesitation, no running. No, but everyone is running in the world. Let them run. Let them run. Let them run. I'm not doing it. I'm not doing any action impulsively, habitually. What is going to happen? The ego dies its own death. Think of it. Think again and again. Again, remember, when we talk of knowledge, it is discernment, it is dispassion, it is faith. So knowledge, discernment, and dispassion, and the faith does the miracle in life. It does the magic. Now you all are seekers, that's what I'm saying. A tremendous faith in yourself comes after dispassion and discernment, not a blind faith. What this crazy guy is talking about? He's talking about me. He's talking about my real nature. He's talking about peace and happiness. Where is the problem to not to have a faith? See that? That is the logic my master used to say. I'm talking about you. I'm not interested in talking about myself. So what is going to happen? Knowledge, discernment, dispassion, faith is there. Inner guru awakens. Inner teacher is awakened in you. And when the inner teacher is awakened in you, you wake up in the morning and your mind reminds you, repeats, and demands you to follow the path of the Shreyas. Ego is gone. The outer teacher will not work all the time. Inner guru is always at work for you. We have to awaken to that inner guru. So when that inner guru is awakened, now see that what happens. When the inner guru is awakened in you, your contemplation and reflection becomes natural. What is that natural? Where I am going, how mind is responding and reacting. You have those questions in your mind. Mind, which path you will follow? Mind, are you following a delusion? No, stop it. Drop it. Are you creating an emotional dependence? No. Or emotional freedom. When the inner guru is awakened, that guides you. That is the third level I have been talking about. Huh? So you maintain your awareness that, oh, is it an emotional dependence or a freedom? Where I'm going? Have I increased pressure on my uncontrolled nature or decreased? You will come to know. You know it. You don't try to rationalize. No, no, you said me, that is why I'm saying this. You see, you are not controlled by the outer situations because that inner guru is present in you. It will hold you. What happens when the inner guru is awakened? And if it is not, then we remain uncontrolled. Then we remain unpredictable. And what is unpredictable? I can be upset on anything and everything. Even if you smile and you smile in appreciation, and I see why you are smiling. Are you making fun of me? Think of this. We have done this. I have done this many a times. Ego that comes up. We are upset on anything and everything. We go on increasing being upset. Pressure of ego is too much. Reaction starts, never seems ending. That is why we are learning at a deeper level. And when that inner guru is awakened, we change our mind, behavior, attitude, feeling. That is the importance of this weekly lessons in satsang, which is known as a satsang. The literal meaning of the satsang is the company with the real self. We only talk about the real self. How the real self is veiled, how the ego superimposes itself on the real self, and what is the veil. So now we have a real honeymoon with the pure mind. You wake up in the morning. Then every day is a good morning. Randy was asking, how's your no, today's morning? So today's morning, tomorrow morning, yesterday morning, everyone. You wake up, working, eating, walking, normal to everyone. Your response to the outer situation now coming from the third level. In traditional wisdom, it is known as antaryami, inner self. It is not the real self. Antaryami. I can tell you a lot of things in this regard that you wake up in the morning and mind says, okay, keep lying on the bed. The inner self says, what the hell you are doing? You want to be lazy? No. Laziness will take you to delusion. So you link instantly. And I have seen, around 3:30 and 4, I wake up every day for years and years and years. The mind starts thinking negatively about a person. An inner guru says, what the heck you are doing? Here is a taser. You apply the taser and you are gone. So it is, you don't fight with the ego. No. There is no need. But inner change comes. You are never in a hurry, worry, and curry. In India, we say hurry, worry, and curry causes lot of challenges. Curry means the food, the spicy food, or the junk food, you can say, in this context. No reaction, but the mind is not now no reaction because the mind is focused naturally. So this is the you are going to replace the outer guru with the inner guru gradually. And then what will happen? Then we will talk, communicate at the equal level. This is what happened, and this is what I did. And this is the way I'm going to work in my life. The journey of the life, the goal of the life is totally fixed. It is to evolve and help everyone to evolve. In any situation, in every situation. A guy got $1 million lottery, but husband was extremely worried about the weak heart of his wife. So he called his friend. He called his friend and told him that you go to my home and create a story so that so that my wife's emotion will be in check. And then you tell her that you have $1 million. So a friend went to the house and started talking to the wife. So, after a brief conversation on different issues, uh, so the wife said, "You are one of the best friend of my husband, and I love you." So that was the right moment. The friend said, "Come on, if you have $1 million today, what will you do?" So wife said, "I will give you 50% to you." So his friend fainted. He went there so that his wife should not be fainted. But this, so friend fainted. So this is what happens when we live with the delusion, when we live with the ego. So don't find that opportunity. Don't create that wrong situation in your life. So let us start our practice. Now eyes are closed. Eyes are closed. And the body is steady. And the mind is facing within. Just be aware of the steadiness in the body. Just an awareness. Now you know with that knowledge, because I have been repeating it again and again in a different way. So your mind instantly recalls that knowledge of the steadiness in the body. It is because of the mind. When the mind is wandering, it will wander into the body. So your direct approach is not enforcing a discipline on the body by being steady. You are steady in a natural way. I believe you get it. That is the beauty of the journey. Initially, we started with a pose. Oh, do this pose and do that pose. That is gone. Primary level. Eyes are closed. I explained you many a time symbolically. Symbolic expression, the eyes are closed. No sense organ can realize the real self, can see the real self. That is the knowledge. So eyes are closed gently. I need not to say that close your eyes gently, upper eyelid, lower eyelid, no pressure. I need not to say because you know it. Do you see the knowledge with the dispassion? And the body is steady because this body is not does not contain the property of happiness, but it is an instrument that will help me to reach there. That is why the body is steady and the mind is facing within. Now look at being comfortable and being carefree. Being comfortable. See, another way to understand being comfortable: move the mind on the entire body, on all the joints of the body, from the neck joint, shoulders. This is an object. Pay attention, it is an object. Then you have elbows and hip, joint, knees, ankles, in the toes. They all are objects. Real self is not an object of knowledge. Yes, you're right, but why you are putting my mind onto the body? We should answer that question. Because mind always wants to understand everything with reference to an object. So we have to raise our level of awareness to find the inner guru who will stop referring any object in the future. You understand? Good. You did not understand? You listen it again. So then what happens? You experience the sensation. The sensation is a subjective experience. Comfort is a subjective experience. And the steadiness in the body, I told you, it is the steadiness in the body. It is not the steadiness of the body. You see, little changes here and there, tweaking. So we educate the mind by tweaking here and there. And that is why I always say that meditation is a play and a fun in life. You cannot have such a beautiful way to play and fun. And then being carefree. Okay, being carefree, let the thought comes and goes. Do you still remember? Carefree means, free from the cares of the mind in delusion. Now I can say with faith, with confirmation, you all are seekers. Free from all the cares that the mind does in delusion. And then we should remember Vidya Dadati Vinayam. The knowledge results into, leads to humility. Vinayam Dadati Patratvam. Humility, we have understood that humility leads to qualification, that I become a qualified seeker. And the qualified seeker awakens to the inner will. That is what I am talking. I discussed today, the inner third layer, the inner self, Antaryami. And when I have the inner wealth, that helps me to lead my righteous life outside in the material world and helps me to evolve to discover the real self. With that knowledge, let us start with the Nyasa. Start breathing deep, silent, slow breathing. Remember that deep, silent, and slow breathing is not making you uncomfortable. You may like to breathe little shorter. It should be deep, silent, and slow, but not very long. But you have a gentle feeling on the belly and the rib cage. And we already know the breath is our car. As you inhale, move the mind inside the right arm, from the shoulder to the fingertips, in the highway, singing. Om Shanti. And Om Shanti contains that knowledge. We did a lot of practices with Om Shanti. Om is the real self, manifestation is the Shanti. So you are fully aware of your destination. Look at it. Continue, my friends. Continue. Breath is the car, the mind is the driver, the space inside or emptiness is the highway. The intellect carries the knowledge with the Om Shanti. Do you see that how softer, gentle the mind becomes when we are a seeker? You check yourself. You understand yourself. Your mind now keeps living within. It moves. What a beautiful state. Now move the mind inside the left arm in the same way. The breath is deep, silent, and slow. The mind is moving with the breath in the space inside, or emptiness inside, or darkness inside. But you are fully awake, I would say. What that means, Om Shanti. And while driving from home to office, the mind knows the destination. You are very much clear about it. You see, gradually I'm out of the picture. The mind simply listens, knows, practices. Now inside the right leg, you will find a kind of self absorption. At the same time, you remain awake. Why? Because you are Om Shanti. That intellect drives the mind away from laziness, unconscious movement, or habit that we lose track during the practice of meditation. Contemplation and reflection with Om Shanti continues. That keeps you awake, and the intellect is aware that you are doing the practice rightly. Only you know it. How the others can know? Now inside the left leg. We are asking the mind to settle completely in the inner self, and then we will modify this nyasa. We started the nyasa in a very, very primary level. But now, very deeper. Om Shanti. Continues. You are singing in your mind. Om is the real self, and Shanti is the revelation, the manifestation. Now in the spine from the crown of the head to the tailbone. Om Shanti. And during exhalation from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Om Shanti. And when you're doing the regular practice, the mind doesn't want to go to prayers. Now leave this deep, silent, and slow breathing. Look inside the heart. In the space, visualize a triangle pointing upward, the equilateral triangle. Pointing upward, the base side of a triangle is the knowledge. The left is side of the triangle is the desire. What is our desire for the real self only? And the left side is an action. That is how we have in Tantra tradition, these geometrical designs represents our inner consciousness. So that's why we are doing a very small practice. So what we do, try you visualize the triangle, and then what happens? You move the mind clockwise on a triangle. Clockwise, so you move to the you're aware of the action, then the knowledge and the desire. And after that, look at the center of the triangle, singing Om, moving the mind deep inside the heart. And as if the mind stops, you drop Shanti. And after that, you see that the mind doesn't want to move. Don't move. Remain in that space, emptiness, infinite. The moment any thought comes, you return. Move the mind on a triangle anti-clockwise. Again at the center. Om Shanti. You will discover this triangle changes its shape, size, color. The time came in my journey, I saw that I'm inside, my whole body is inside the triangle. So sometimes we find different colors, shape, and the size, color, visions pertaining to the triangle. So I'm giving you a clue. Triangle means knowledge, desire, and action. The mind reflects that. through these experiences. Continue, my friend. Continue. Shanti. Now this mind will say, yes, you are there. And when the mind sees you are there, the mind doesn't move. Oh, when the mind doesn't move, then you know what happens. Shanti, Shanti. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. And it's not unusual in that state. I am reciting from here and it goes deep inside your heart. Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Bring your mind on the right hand. Bring your mind on the left hand. Take your own time, gently lift your both the palms, place it on your eyes. And open the eyes inside the palms. Know your experiences. And bring the hands down. Kate, you want to share? Good. Brandy, how are you?
I'm great. That was a really deep and peaceful meditation. I only had to use my taser once.
That's good.
And, yeah. And at one point, I felt like I was going through a tunnel. And so I was just going through the tunnel, and then I gave it an Shanti, and then I was like going fast through the tunnel.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
It's a deeper practice, deeper experience. How are you, David and Jerry?
I really enjoyed that. There was like a real awareness of the gold within me through the whole meditation, and that was very satisfying. What I noticed when we were doing the triangle thing is I could see an eye early on, very vivid eye, like a person's eye. And then that faded away just into emptiness.
Into total emptiness. As if the world disappeared. So that is the reference with I. We'll discuss about it. How are you, Jerry?
It was great. It was dark, deep. The Nyasa felt very fluid. And then when we started the triangle, it felt more like a deep ocean abyss.
That's wonderful. That's another beautiful experience. How are you, Lara?
I guess I'm good. I totally missed the triangle. I didn't have the triangle at all.
Okay.
At the beginning of the meditation, my mind was really busy. So the outer guru was like what I would call in the marketplace, and there's a lot of chatter going on. The inner guru was aware, and so I did Nyasa before you started. I had to clear the limbs.
You did not use the taser. You did not use the taser.
Well, I was using the taser by clearing myself.
Clearing.
Well, in my mind, I guess that's how I was using it. And then I don't know where I went. My neck got really stiff at the end.
We'll find out where you have gone. But it's good. Contemplation and reflection helps a great deal. How are you, Stephen?
Fantastic, thank you. Meditation today was very interesting. I recognized during the Nyasa that each limb, basically when I started on my right arm, it was on the surface. And as I went to each of the other three limbs, it getting deeper and deeper within those limbs. When we got to the, and and at one point on the left leg part, and I just remember this, is that it wasn't just the left leg. As I was ascending up the left leg, it was like a shot of energy that went up my hip, up my arm, and finished at the side, just at the very top here on the left side of my head.
Good.
And then it just kept continuing down. When I got to the triangle, this was an interesting piece because Sam and I have had this conversation that I brought up to him yesterday. We've done the triangle several times now, and then during the week when I'm doing the redoing and listening to the lessons, I brought up to Sam yesterday, do you look at the triangle from the inside out or from the outside in? And I've had multiple experiences, but today's experience, which was similar to yesterday's experience, I actually saw the triangle from the Shiva down.
Good.
So so that was kind of cool, and I was like, okay, so maybe I've got to just teaser my mind at that point that I'm creating this triangle confusion for myself. But today within the triangle was an amazing experience because I felt this just wave of relaxation, which I thought I was already relaxed, and I saw myself meditating in the middle of the triangle.
Beautiful, beautiful. You see that the first is what is going to happen in the nyasa as we continue the practice, that the limbs or the body will be totally forgotten. Only there will be a movement of energy. So energy movement means that the mind is already withdrawn inside. And as far as the triangle is concerned, I already gave that seed of knowledge, the three sides of a triangle. The one side represents the knowledge, the second side represents the desire for the real self, and the third side represents action part. So that is how the variety of experiences taking place. How are you, Sam?
I'm really good. I would describe this practice as getting more simple. I'm having to remind myself less about the mantra. The flow is coming more easily than the constant reminder. And similarly to what Uncle Stephen said, I'm noticing where the blockages in the energy pathways
Very
are,
good point.
that are generally where pain and injuries are in the physical body. But I feel like I'm now able to access that throughout the day and find the openings in the passageways. So.
Yeah, not only the physical injuries, but we have millions of mental injuries. I'm upset. I reacted to you. You didn't listen to me. Oh, there's a long list. So by this practice, it is going to be melted completely. How are you, Barbara?
I'm very good. That was a very deep and peaceful meditation. Only I had a hard time visualizing the triangle.
Okay, no problem.
I mean, it would come, but then it would go, and then I couldn't visualize it again.
Yeah. Maybe because of the past impression, they resurface and they enter there and they block. So it's okay. It's a part of the journey. You continue doing it and the time comes. So there are two aspects of it. Either we visualize the triangle or the mind works with the knowledge, right desire, and right action. So that will reveal into the experiences. Again, we are using the triangle as a symbol to reach to the higher consciousness. So, how are you, Bo?
Hello. Bo's sick, like I said. I have the COVID, and I'm very tired. Today, when I did the meditation, I think it was the medicine I needed because I wanted to wrap myself around myself.
Beautiful.
Going in really mattered.
Ah,
It really mattered today. It was easy to fall in. And it was just peaceful and quiet.
continue doing it. Don't leave it. COVID demands rest, so practice 3 times and 4 times during the day. I'm not saying anything, but you will see the result.
I felt so good today that, just today, just because maybe the physical dropped away because I don't have the strength and I'm tired. So maybe I was more open to everything going inside.
Good. Very good. How are you, Ashok?
I am good, sir. And meditation was very peaceful and quiet.
Quite.
That's great. Good.
Good. How are you, Sangeeta? Oh, okay. I will take up Christina.
सर बहुत अच्छा लगा और ट्रायंगल के बीच में मुझे आज थोड़ा ग्रीन ग्रीन कलर दिख रहा था.
Green color. She saw the. Yeah. Go ahead. She saw the greenish color inside the triangle. Yeah. That also represents the calmness and peace. As we follow in the future sessions, we will talk about it. How are you, Christina?
Grateful to be here with you all as always. I noticed that I was, as Stephen mentioned, being on the inside of the triangle. I noticed the whole time throughout the vinyasa, I was almost on the inside, but I was on the very outer layer. And I've noticed that throughout my days of I'm so close to being fully there, but there's still something in my mind that is distracting me. And there's nothing on the outside. I heard maybe my dad leaving at one point, but that doesn't bother me. It's just something my mind's been a little more active, I think, lately.
That's good.
So,
That's good. Nothing outside can affect you during the practice of meditation. That is very good and the deeper step. So, any question? No question. Thank you. Don't get fainted. If you remember the story. Namaste. That is.
Namaste.
Even if you don't remember the story, it's okay.
Thank you.
Namaste. Thank
Namaste.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. अरे हो गया ठीक है